Oh, there you are, YouTube. To continue our celebration of Oscar week, which we are in day 5 of right now, we will be analyzing and ranking the cover art from the Best Picture winners of the 70s. Before we get into our analysis though, I would like to show you the cover art of the films in chronological order. And the winner of 1970 was Patton. 71, The French Connection. 72, The Godfather. 73, The Sting. 74, The Godfather Part II. 75, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. 76, Rocky. 1977, Star Wars. Nope, I mean Annie Hall. Nope, yes. 1978, The Deer Hunter. 1979, Kramer vs. Kramer. Let's get to analyzing these covers. Alright, starting off with Patton, we are given the titular character right here, but we're also given him here. And right here, he's contained within the rectangle on the outsides, where they are framing the center version of him right here, and he is overlapping this section of the rectangle. Very symmetrical, extremely symmetrical. What I like about this is they didn't use the classic image of him standing in front of the flag, but did, I think, pay homage to it. I don't know if they're paying homage to that scene or just putting the flag in there because this is, a military film. But can you see right here, very faintly, you see the stripes of the flag happening. I believe right here as well. The composition here is very simple. Here is, the title, obviously here, George C. Scott's name right here. But does this one wow me? Not necessarily. It almost looks like a documentary, and maybe that's what they're going for. Maybe they want this to be a trick purchase where the people who know it is a movie, a dramatization, they will buy it, but also maybe trick some people into thinking this is a documentary because George C. Scott looks so much like Patton. So much so. Anyway, I'm not sure how I feel about this right now. It's going to come down to the ranking, but it is what it is, right? Okay, with the French Connection, here we have sort of this monochromatic center happening with our main character. That's Gene Hackman. There's his name right there. We have the outstretched arm holding the gun, this face that says, "I'm not a nice person." Even just, the gesture, what he's doing, goes to, sort of shows and accompanied with that face saying this is a probably corrupt man, right? And I don't know, it just has a grittiness to it, which I think definitely demonstrates some of the film textures that we have in the 70s, especially with these anti-hero films. And then right here, do you see this glare happening? This sort of has that foil style DVD where it changes colors. Oh, it's happening everywhere, not just the outer edges. You can see it happening there on the title, Gene Hackman's face. We're sort of given that rainbow that moves around, which I think is a lot of fun. But yeah, I think, it implies you're gonna see some action in here. There are cars, possibly a car chase, right? Just that gritty texture shows that you will be getting a gritty film. And then, I don't know, I kind of like the, what do you call that? Foil, hologram, something like that. I feel like this is almost more of like a hologram sort of look to it. But if you know the correct term for what I'm talking about right here, please let me know, because I do not know. But yeah, I like this piece, and it is a thicker box right here, but that's not what we're judging here. We are judging the cover art, and I think this is pretty nice. I like that monochromatic center that we're given. So this is The Godfather, but this disc here, this DVD, comes from a collection, which is right here. But this is not what I'll be looking at because this is all 3 films. I do like this cover much better, but inside the DVDs that we are given right here, much less interesting, but it is what we are given. So it's, a photographic portrait, title up here, and then Coppola's name down there, Francis Ford Coppola, the director. You know, sort of again with the monochromatic here, and I don't know. This is more, you know, less I think the cover art and more the fact that this is a piece of a whole, and I'm not showing you the whole. We are not covering the collection. We're just covering the single film. So this is pretty boring. I mean, he's, you know, at an angle to create some dynamic lines right there. The side lighting, you know, happening right here, in shadow over here, sort of showing, you know, the good side, the bad side, you know, which side are you gonna get? You know, are you gonna find a horse head in your bed, or are you gonna get kisses on the cheek? You know, who knows? So, I don't know, I think the colors work well, and with what they are giving us, it works. It's just very simple and not very interesting, or yeah, it's just not as dynamic or interesting as I would want. Here we have the Sting, and this one I think is really nice. What we're getting right here, this is like a paper, but it is textured almost to be like leather, I would say. And then the title and the circle that we're given here has sort of that metal foil look to it. You can see how it shines in the light right there, which I think is great and beautiful. We have our two main characters right here in the center, and they are illustrated, which I always think is fantastic. Let me see if I can get more of that title showing there. So we're gonna get this one at an angle a little bit just so I can show that off. I think that looks really nice. But yeah, I think this one to me is a winner. It's almost like a book, right? It's almost like a bound book. Why is that cloth in there? I don't remember why that's in there. Sorry for the color change there. But yeah, I think this is a great piece, and not only is the imagery great, but the fact that they added texture, varying types of texture also, because this is much smoother, what we're getting here in the shiny areas versus here, which again feels like almost like a leather texture, but if paper can feel like leather, basically. But yeah, great image right here too with the illustration. I absolutely love that. They look like they're having the time of their life, and I think that is fantastic. The Godfather Part 2, again, we are limited because this is just a single thin disc that was in a whole set of the trilogy. So we aren't given necessarily anything as interesting as the box set cover. You know, it's more of a frontal lighting versus the side lighting that we were getting earlier. We are getting, you know, sort of that dynamic angle line happening here. But, you know, I get, you know, the title exists in the same spot. It's very similar to the other one. So this is going to be a very difficult one to place in order. And again, I apologize for this. I know I need to upgrade these films individually, not in a box set, and I need your help doing that. Let me know how I can find a cooler version of The Godfather Part 2, just Part 2. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Here we have a portrait of Jack Nicholson in black and white. He is standing in front of a fence with barbed wire. So there I think we are getting a little narrative when it says one flew over the cuckoo's nest. We are seeing the fence. And where is he gonna go? Is he gonna try and fly over that? So I think it gives, or it has a nice connection with the title here. And this, on a more personal note, this piece of physical media means a lot to me because I got it signed by the cinematographer, Haskell Wexler, right there. That's his signature. Had the chance to meet him, and I don't know, that was great to have him sign this film. Yeah, I don't know. So basically just making this a piece that I really like because of that signature. But yeah, just a great, you know, portrait right here, and I do like that the fence here does tie in with the title. It is a great visual reference for what we are seeing, what we're reading here in the title. For Rocky, we are given an iconic image right here. where he runs up those steps, bounces around. But I don't think this necessarily takes away from the movie. Like, seeing this, I don't think you're going to, you know, sort of read this as like a spoiler or have it sort of ruin that experience for you, because there's so much buildup before he makes it up to the top of these stairs. So seeing this, I don't think is going to ruin the experience of seeing him right here at within the movie. I also like the bold lettering that we get here of Rocky, just like the opening credits, although these are in red where they are in white in the movie. Interesting thing about Rocky is we get his credits. We get the credits for this movie twice. We get it where they're really big and sort of scroll across the screen, and then later, as the movie's going, they show up in the bottom left corner, which is pretty cool for a movie to show you the title twice. I think that's kind of fun. But yeah, I love this image. Beautiful atmospheric perspective happening right here. There's some great texture to this photograph. I think it's definitely a winning, whoa, sorry, I blew that out. I think it's definitely a winning example of how to use a still from a movie. This might be publicity, though, a publicity image that was taken, but regardless, you know, seeing a photograph like this, this is the right way to do it. Stylize it and incorporate it as much as you can into the entire image rather than making it feel like something pasted in. I think this is a great one. And Star Wars. I mean, Annie Hall. I keep making that joke, but the thing is, I like Annie Hall. I think it's a fine winner. I mean, I guess I'd probably think Star Wars should win over Annie Hall, but, you know, I like Annie Hall. Nothing wrong with Annie Hall. Okay, except for, you know, who directed it and who's in it and all that. But, the movie, aside from, you know, all the Woody Allen stuff, is a pretty interesting story, I think. But what does this cover do? Nothing, not much, boring. It tells you who's in it and gives you some background, you know, I guess, but this isn't very interesting. They're just standing too. I mean, maybe that sort of tells you quite a bit about the relationship and where things go and where things start, and but overall, not a very interesting cover. It's not going to grab me. You are buying this because you already know what the movie is, or you're buying this, I mean, I don't know, what is the purpose of this cover? You already know what the movie is. It's just saying, hey, remember these two? They're in this movie. I don't know. Doesn't do much for me art-wise. With this Deer Hunter piece right here, gonna get into texture for the cover art. This, similarly to The Sting, has sort of that leather texture paper to it. And I don't know, I think that's always nice. I think it sort of grows up the film, the piece of media, and, you know, it sort of opens up like a book as well. I think this is a nice one. I like the Meryl Streep silhouette sort of happening here, reverse silhouette. And, you know, I guess she's sort of like a floating head, two floating heads over here, but, you know, it doesn't bother me too much. I think the most interesting portion that we're seeing is all over here with De Niro and, you know, standing with the gun over here, and then the helicopters, sort of this, I believe it to be smoke, but it sort of has like a watercolor look to it in this area. So that visual texture, is this watercolor or are we looking at smoke? I think that's kind of nice. It sort of functions as either one. And, you know, they are a little bit more photographic. He's a little heavily textured, with, you know, the contrast sort of turned up and not as smooth as we are getting over here. But I think this one overall is pretty good. And again, it's, you know, the texture always wins me over with the pieces of media that have that. This does not give the story of the movie, and this kid knows it. Look at this happy family, happy couple right here, but he's thinking, are we sure this is how we want to promote the movie? Because I think we're going to trick a lot of people. Do we want people to look at this happy couple, then watch? Well, I guess when they see, they're going to get it. They see the title there, they're going to know these smiles aren't going to stay smiles. And this kid right here knows it. I think this one is, I mean, I guess it's good, you know, because here, two last names versus each other, they're going to court, and we have to assume that it's the two of them. So yeah, I think it's good for marketing purposes. What I don't like about this is they put sort of the iconic scene right here, and why did they do that? They shouldn't have done that. That just muddles up everything. It's a less visual, I don't know, it's not as clean. It makes it a little muddy. I think it just should have been the three of them, and then you ditch this and put it on the back instead. I bet it's going to be on the back too. Nope, it's not. I was wrong. Not the exact same image, but I was thinking something from that same scene would end up right there. Did not. But yeah, I don't know. I think, I don't know, that I think it is a good move what they did. I was, happy couple and title sort of tells you what this is about. The original marriage story, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's move ahead, and I'm going to try and figure out a way to rank all of these. How to rank them. Or is it this? This is the thinking.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Alright, I'm really twisted up here, but what is last? We are starting with the worst, going to the best. Annie Hall, just because all it's doing is saying who's in the movie. That's all it is. Nothing interesting. Nothing, I don't know, maybe their body language is interesting, but with the quick, impromptu sort of analysis that I just gave this, I'm not that interested in their body language, and I just find it boring. These two, oh man, I'm gonna flip the camera around. Second to last. This one I think is a little bit better, basically because of the side lighting. Makes it a little bit more dynamic, so that's why Godfather Part 2 is further down the list than The Godfather. Right here with Patton. The reason this is so low, basically, looking at this, you think you're looking at a documentary film. So, I don't know if that's a bad thing. Maybe it is. I don't know. But that's why it's down here. And why are we looking at him three ways? I don't know. I guess, it's story of his life, so, different periods of time. Very sterile, also. Kind of boring, I guess. Right here, I don't know. It is pretty, I think, sophisticated to have this title, which, shows they're going to court, and then the smiles. So I think that's a great contrast. But this right here is so bad. I can't believe it's as high as it is, even with this here. But I do like that title versus their smiles. I think that's great. The Deer Hunter right here, whoops, knocking over chairs. The Deer Hunter right here, I think is a good image, and I don't know, let me get into texture. I like the texture. But the two of them over here on the right versus everything over here just almost looks like too much of a divide. This line right here separating them is too bold of a line. Not because the line itself, but the faces that we're looking at over here do not match the faces that we're looking at over here. It doesn't look unified. Maybe there's purpose behind that. Maybe the artist was thinking about that specifically, meaning something, but when I'm looking at it, I just see I see a disconnect, and I don't know, I'm not that into that. Right here, I love the simplicity of it. I didn't take the signing of the DVD into consideration, just, Jack Nicholson, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, who's the one? Maybe he's the one. And then Cuckoo's Nest right here, flying over this barbed wire. So, I don't know, simple, but tells you so much as well. But not giving stuff away, I guess, I don't know. And French Connection, I like the hologram. I like the gritty texture to it. His face, the expression on his face, and I don't know, just the texture really wins over for me. But these two right here are pretty close. Rocky, again, if you're going to use a famous, iconic image, do it like this, where it all feels absolutely cohesive, and I think it was great to make these not solid, but we can see the concrete that he is standing on, or marble, or whatever it is he's standing on, through the lettering there. I think that is a fantastic image. Great textures all throughout. Love that atmospheric perspective happening. This, I think, is a great piece right there. But in the end, I love this. I know I'm a sucker for illustration, plus the sort of metallic hologramness happening, and then this leather feel. We're getting so much with this. And I love it, and they seem happy about it. They seem very excited to be in first place. And there's the entire grouping. Sting winning, Annie Hall losing, everything in the middle. Before I go, I'd like to ask if you know of better editions of these films on physical media. I don't really care if it's Blu-ray or DVD, but I would like to upgrade some of them, especially the Godfathers, when it comes to cover art. Those aren't very interesting. I have the box set, but I would like to own them individually if possible, with great cover art, because I don't know. I appreciate these movies, very into the Oscars and Best Picture, and I'd like nicer examples. The Sting, is there anything on Blu-ray that looks better than that? If so, send it my way, let me know, and then I can purchase it if I ever fall into some money. Also, I'm curious how you would rank these bits of cover art behind me. What did you think was the best? What did you think was the worst? If you don't want to rank them, I don't know, which ones were you impressed by? Which ones did you think were absolutely awful? I'm curious to know all of that stuff. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this 1970s Best Picture ranking, and perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout. Best Picture.